pretty relaxed.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's been a long time, one game in however long, so staying wound up doesn't serve anyone. We've had a good balance between, and obviously today we had a big training session, but being able to switch off, stay fresh is going to be really important for us. We've got a lot of young players and big games, so if we can't stay balanced and level, then might be in a bit of trouble. We've done a good job of that, clearly, as you can see.
How are you doing it personally?
I got a bit of uni, so we could talk all day about the nuances of corporate finance and all that stuff. I don't think that's particularly interesting, but it's taken up a lot of my time. I've got family over as well, so obviously catching up with them now that we're out of lockdown has been good. So, just trying to live a normal life, which we're pretty lucky to be able to do. We're basically free as opposed to where we would be back in Melbourne. Obviously, with an earthquake this morning, as if it wasn't all enough for them already.
Touch base with everyone at home, everyone all right?
Yeah, no one's been squashed. I don't think anyone, I saw one wall fell over in Chapel Street. Outside of that, I haven't seen anything else. So thankfully, nothing too serious, but scary, yeah, it's a bit scary.
There's been a lot made of, obviously, as mentioned, the fans stuck back in Melbourne, family and friends. You've got a big connection to WA though. Does that make it a little bit more special that you do get to play here in WA? Yeah,
look, it's my small fortune of having brothers and family over here is very, very, as I said, small in comparison to the size of the people who have been with us on such, it's been a long journey. 57 was 57 years ago without a flag. So look, I've very much got that in perspective. It's not something that, whilst I know I'm lucky, I'm very aware, and so we all are, of all the people who are back in Melbourne that we've left behind, and hopefully, we're bringing some joy and happiness to them. They're able to watch us play some good footy, so keep it up, I guess.
Will you stay on, Angus, after with WA connections?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Sorry, if there's any AFL rules or regulations around any of that stuff yet, but yeah, I will if I'm allowed. But we'll wait and see. Bigger things to worry about in the meantime.
Talking of your brothers, any banter? You were going to be the first one to play in the grand final?
I don't think that doesn't count for a whole lot if I was to get pumped out of the water in one. So, no, we actually look. My brothers are obviously proud and happy and the rest of it, but I think we'll save all that banter and stuff. I've been pretty focused. It's easy to get distracted. Whilst it's great that we're free. To be treating it as a holiday would be a disservice. So I've been pretty, and I think our whole group has been doing a really good job of, sticking, to what we've, the job at hand, not looking too far ahead, not getting caught up in, banter with brothers is harmless, I guess. But we've been really focused. So I'm looking forward to having a bit more of a relaxed time with them, and after this is all done. But for now, it's we're very, very focused on what's coming up.
How much do you read into the history of the club, and how much do you try to use that, perhaps as whether it's extra motivation or just like another little special something that goes with it? Yeah, look, we've got a strong contingent of past players who have been, with us the whole journey. Obviously, they played for the club, but earlier in the year, early in pre-season's gone, they come down and do sessions with us, and they're really connected. They come in and do meetings with us from time to time, different individuals. So we've got a strong link to our past, and our history obviously is the oldest club in the competition. We're acutely aware of where we sit in our situation as it pertains to how long it's been between drinks for us. So we we're a proud club, and we're this will mean a lot to a lot of people. It already does. Look, the success that we have is not at all where we want to be so far. Obviously, we want to win the whole thing, but the joy and happiness I sort of touched on before that we bring people just by being good and winning games is it's a shame it's got to that point, but it's pretty special to be able to make people happy in a really hard time like that. So hopefully we can go one more.
What are you expecting Saturday?
Bulldogs and us have had 2 games this season. Both have been hotly contested. They've got a great midfield. Good players all over the ground, and so do we. I think it's going to be a hard contested game of footy, which I think is probably the best outcome. We're going to be both breasted off the the bye, so there's not going to be no excuses. Hopefully it's a good hard game, but we win is what I'm hoping.
There's been a lot of talk about the selflessness, and it seems from outside that you've had to accept like sometimes in quite a lot of games, lower possession tallies than you would have had at different stages of your career.
Uh-huh.
How have you personally dealt with that, fitting into this sort of mosaic of a group?
Easily.
You may have had to give up some.
Easily. So low possession counts aside, we've had the most wins. Probably had more wins this year than all up combined in the rest of my career. So it's easy to sacrifice, and I'm speaking on behalf of the group, easy to sacrifice, as I think Christian touched on, when we can actually tangibly see the results. We're winning more games, people are buying into the team concept. It's a weight of numbers now, and it's easy. I'm speaking for myself, I'm sure everyone would say the same. Very easy to go that extra mile, do something extra for your mate when everyone else is doing it and we're winning. So it's been really enjoyable for me this year playing, and I get a lot of joy watching. I think Christian, this could be verbatim for what Christian said. I'm enjoying watching people play well and succeed, and there's a lot of that going on because we've had obviously a successful year, but it doesn't matter so much as how individuals are playing as opposed to how the team goes. So it's probably a mindset shift over the last couple of years that's finally got the weight of numbers on board now, and I think you're seeing the benefits of that.
Is the healthiness of the list a stark change as well? I mean, I know that you've suffered your injuries over the last 4 or 5 years, but you can't help notice, how many good players from Melbourne are going to miss out. Like, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Is something different this year? Something Burgess has done? Is there a little bit of luck involved?
We've got a new physio, Dan James from Carlton. He and I often joke, tongue-in-cheek, that he's the sole reason why we've had, the injury record we've had this year. But
Dan's taking the credit.
DJ, he'd appreciate this pump up as well, I know, so good on you, DJ. But, look, there's a lot of luck involved in that to a certain degree. I think we've got a really professional group across the board, physios and doctors, and the players as well play a part in that. But, we've had years where it's not been the case, and we just get hit week after week by freak injuries, and we're pretty happy to be in this situation. I think we've got a couple of, like Tomlinson, Nietzsche, and obviously Nath Jones not available to be picked, but Marty Hoare as well with long-term knee injuries. But outside of that, we've got 40-odd blokes who are putting their hand up, and there's going to be some stiff blokes, but to not be playing doesn't at all mean that they haven't contributed in a really meaningful way. So I don't know what the team is, obviously, but it's good. I think the competition for spots has been really good for us.
Your concussion issues are well documented. Do you pinch yourself a little bit, the fact that you're about to play in a grand final when a few years ago just kind of getting a run on the park was a big thing for you? Yeah, look, that's interesting. Yeah, look, concussion stuff, I'm so far past that. It's not something I think about too often. Certainly reflect when you put it like that, from where I was to standing here now before you about to play in a grand final it's an incredible journey, and it's probably something I'll reflect on more, maybe after the game or even, later in my career. So it's been a long, long journey, and, not only concussions, we were pretty ordinary for a while there, a lot of losing games, and, for us to be here as a group, I think individually, it's a pretty cool thing to have come back from that position, but as a group to have started, I think we came second last or third last in my first year. So from a group perspective as well, it's been an incredible journey, and it's not done. We've got obviously the biggest game of all to come, so it's probably something we'll reflect on a bit more after the game, hopefully with a win.
With
so
the
the
talent
band
you've
has
got,
been minimal between your brothers, but have you had any advice from brothers, dad, uncle, anyone who knows the game inside out?
My uncle said, if you want one piece of advice, don't listen to your dad, and I've done that. Six hasn't really, I don't think he played in a few waffle grannies, but hasn't had a lot to say. And yeah, look, it's interesting. Aside from some waffle finals, I think my pop played in one in '64, which was the last year, coincidentally, Melbourne did. It's all about, I think, and it's consistent with what we've been told as a group, is just to stay in the moment. And it's very easy to get caught up in, there's all the excitement around the game, and, everyone's sort of interested now in Melbourne, across the whole sort of country, in a really hard time. I think that focus is heightened, and to get caught up and without a game in between. So obviously, as we've spoken about, had that week off to go forward and play the game in your head over and over again would be really easy, and I'm sure everyone's done it at some point. But to just come back to, we've got training today, we had session the other day, weight session. So just to stay focused on each individual thing, not to get too caught up in it, which is easier said than done. So that's the advice I've got, and it's served us well so far. So hopefully it can carry us one more game.